I'm going to give me a young girl. Nah, bro, you 45.
Yeah.
Don't try to mess with no 20-year-old popping Viagra and trying to
Putting
maintain.
on
You go
shoes with the rubber soles
right.
so you can go dancing. Hey, I'm on the other side of the hill. I only got so much time left in front of me. What am I going to do with it to make sure that in my final days, I feel content with the life that I've led?
If you about to go to that upper room and your life flashes before your eyes and you like, that's all I did? Let's make some changes.
This is an Unsolicited Perspectives YouTube exclusive.
Jay, this YouTube exclusive and this topic, and the reason why I'm making a YouTube exclusive topic and not on the podcast is because I'm not going to throw people under the bus, but I kind of am.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why people talk to me. It's going to become content. It's going to become content.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to be 45 in a few months.
Mm-hmm.
You are going to be 41 this summer.
Yep.
Our friend group, our peers are typically our age, right?
Yes,
and this is when they say that you get that midlife crisis going.
I definitely did. That's why I'm in school.
Well, okay. So no, you didn't. What you are doing is evolving. And there's a difference between a crisis and evolving. As we get older, we naturally evolve. Our positions and things that we view that we were younger is going to change and evolve. So some things change and evolve. Mm-hmm. Some things are a legitimate crisis. And I have a few friends that are coming to me. And this is the first time I've actually seen a female crisis. With the male crisis, you typically see it. They start acting younger. They start getting earrings, dangling earrings.
Okay, it feels very pointed.
No,
all right.
I actually am not going through a crisis because there is never any point that in my life where I felt like I missed out on something.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not out here trying to date young women. Like I specifically tell the young women, you too young for me.
Yeah.
I'm not messing with you. You don't got nothing for me.
Yeah.
I'm not buying cars or anything like that, so no, I'm not going through a crisis. I actually am doing things that I know that I want to do, have always wanted to do, because I know this is morbid, that my time here is more time behind me than there is ahead of me.
We winding down.
We head into that upper room.
Yeah.
But that's part of it, right?
Yeah.
Getting this, people hit this midlife crisis because in the 40s, because like you're either at the halfway point or you're past the halfway point.
Yeah.
Right. And so what is the difference between midlife crisis and what's naturally evolving? And I'm going to get into the different aspects of what is midlife crisis and what's positive aging. That's a term, positive aging.
Okay.
But have you experienced anything around your peer group, people that are around your age that you think is a crisis, but might not be a crisis?
I've been calling my decision to make this career pivot and go back to school. I've been telling people this is my midlife crisis, that I was dissatisfied with my life and I'm at the midpoint and I'm like, something's got to change. And Black women, we going to get a degree or LLC.
Right.
And so I went and I got getting a degree. So I have been calling this my midlife crisis, but I would like to think of this as positive aging.
It's absolutely positive aging. So what are some of the differences that are midlife crisis and positive aging? So let's go with the emotional state, because that's typically where it goes through. That's typically where it starts, right?
Yeah.
Aspects of a midlife crisis in an emotional state is high anxiety, regret, dissatisfaction, and sleeplessness. If you have any of those things, you might be going through a midlife crisis. But an example of positive aging is optimism, gratitude, and acceptance.
Yeah.
So the reason why I say you going off and doing a career pivot, you're more optimistic about your future.
Yeah. Yes.
And you're accepting that this is my future. You might have had anxiety, but it wasn't anxiety of getting older. It was anxiety of, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
So you switched, but the switch isn't being impulsive and doing something detrimental to your well-being.
Okay.
It's doing something that's positive.
Right. So I was feeling that anxiety, that dissatisfaction. And so I did something to turn it into gratitude. And I've become accepting and optimistic about getting older.
which leads us into the behavioral patterns of somebody who's going through a midlife crisis or somebody who's doing positive aging. A behavioral pattern of somebody that's going through midlife crisis is impulsivity, risky spending, or substance abuse.
Yeah.
Now, you know, like weed, but you
I don't abuse it.
right, you don't abuse it.
I don't abuse it.
A behavioral pattern of somebody who's doing positive aging is purposeful activities.
Okay.
Writing books, achieving goals, like going back to school.
Well,
So,
hey, all right.
so when you put this into the context, so a
Yeah.
lot of my friends are starting to do impulsive things. Do you know? I have more 40-year-old friends now. I'm sorry, but I gotta say it. I've got more 40-year-old friends, mid-40s, that have gotten herpes from their sexual partners than I ever experienced of people in their 20s. Now, herpes is a thing, is more prevalent
Yes.
than people realize.
Yes.
But the reason why they got them, one, their partners were cheating on them, but their partners were people that they should not have been with at their big age.
You're right.
It was people that you could see on paper wasn't the right situation for them.
This is a risky choice.
But because of their age and their impulsivity, they were making risky choices that put them in that situation. Just like men being like, I'm going to give me a young girl. Nah, bro, you 45.
Yeah.
Don't try to mess with no 20-year-old popping Viagra and trying to maintain.
Putting on shoes with the rubber soles
right,
so you can go dancing.
You're going to mess around and give yourself a heart attack messing with these young ass women. And guess what? You ain't gonna be able to. Well, some men are really immature, so I guess they can have conversations with 26-year-old women, but I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. So that's not risky behavior that I'm gonna do. So yes, there's a difference between behavior patterns between midlife crisis and positive aging. So you are positively aging.
Nice. Nice.
Another one is focusing or dwelling on past mistakes or comparing oneself unfavorably to others. Versus positive aging, which is embracing new challenges and personal growth.
I am positively aging, y'all. That is really nice. I mean, seriously, because this entire time I've literally been calling this my midlife crisis.
No, there's a difference. Crisis, some people are actually going through a crisis.
Yeah.
But there should be another term called midlife awakening.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That would be equal to or that would transition to positive aging.
Yeah.
Because all this is, I talked about it. I think I came up with this term previously. Didn't I come with this term previously?
Midlife awakening? No.
Yeah, something like that. Midlife evolution. I came with something like this on a previous podcast. I said something like this because I said, I've been going through it throughout my 40s. Like, people are like, you're going through a crisis. It's like, why am I going through a crisis? Because your mentality is changing. I was like, I feel like my mentality is changing for the better.
I feel like I've grown up.
Yes.
I feel like I've grown up.
I don't want to do kid stuff no more.
And
well, that's not true. I still want to play video games.
I still absolutely want to do kid things because millennials, we lost our childhood a little bit because the world is so crazy. But like, I feel like I've grown up in that I'm taking more accountability for my own life, in that I realize like, hey, I'm on the other side of a hill. I only got so much time left in front of me. What am I going to do with it to make sure that in my final days, I feel content with the life that I've led? So I think that's where the awakening kind of comes up. Like, it's like, okay, you start thinking about your mortality and you're just like, would I be content with the life that I've led so far? And if the answer is no, then you're like, okay, let's make some changes.
Right. If you about to go to that upper room and your life flashes before your eyes and you like, that's all I did? Let's make some changes.
Yeah.
So another example of midlife crisis versus positive aging is physical engagement decline due to stress or neglect. So you just, you're not doing anything. You laying up and you chilling and you ain't doing nothing. Versus positive aging, which is an active lifestyle, i.e., exercising or pursuing hobbies.
Yeah.
So some people will get into their 40s and they'll just be like, all right, I'm good. Like
Yeah.
I got a few people that are just like, well, whatever. And
Yeah.
me mentally, I can't wait to get there to where I don't have to work out anymore. But that's not going to be until like 60, around late 60s, early 70s. I'm not
Yeah.
going to care no more after that. I'm going to eat all the Popeyes chicken I want.
No.
Eat a chicken sandwich every day.
You
by
think
that,
so, but once you get to that age, you be like, no, I'm trying to stay here for a little bit longer.
well, okay, maybe. Right.
I
okay.
don't see a world in which you specifically are not active.
Not active, right? I'm always
Yeah.
going to do something because
Yeah.
my anxiety dictates that I have to do something or else I'm
Yes.
going to go crazy.
Yes.
But to work out this hard, to work out 6 days a week and watch my dad like that, eventually I'm going to get to an age where I'm good.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I don't have to do this
Yeah.
anymore.
But
But
now is not that time.
now it's not the time, but there are some people who absolutely are. And then I see other people who are absolutely becoming obsessed,
Yeah.
which isn't necessarily a good thing in and of itself, being
Right.
obsessed about it, but have become super active because once again, when you get to this age, it's like, I'm on the other side. I
Mm-hmm.
want to be here a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
Social connections. All right. Withdrawing from relationships versus building meaningful relationships.
Yeah.
When midlife crisis hits, that often stems from an existential concerns or society pressures leading to impulsive behavior and dissatisfaction. Positive aging focuses on embracing life changes with purpose, adaptability, optimism. Both paths reflect different ways of navigating the challenges of middle age and beyond. No, goodness, and beyond.
Yeah.
I messed that up. But
yeah.
okay, so this
But-
might be a situation where I'm going through a crisis because I have
Yes.
withdrawn from relationships.
The number of people that I see that in their 40s and up that ain't got no friends, boy, oh boy, you gonna wish you had them friends when you're retired and you don't have nothing to do with your day.
Mhm.
You gonna wish you had people to talk to. You gonna wish you had built meaningful relationships. And the crazy thing is, and I love that every time you do a versus, I'm on the positive aging side. I've become at this age more invested in strengthening my relationships with people and creating meaningful interactions with people. Like I've become more invested in doing that because I know how important, especially as we get older, building community is
Yeah.
and having good people around you. Because I mean, look, one by one, we gonna start as we get older to have those conversations. You hear about so and so, she passed on. You hear about so and so, he's gone now. Like you're going to need people. I hate when I see in high school. I volunteered at a I don't like old folks home. What's it? A retirement community.
Mhm.
And just the amount of people just with nobody to visit them.
Mm.
Not a
Well, maybe they was
friend.
nasty. Maybe they was nasty.
Yeah, but I mean, again, that's it. That's also something, right? It's
Mhm.
like you didn't step outside of yourself, take your ego out of whatever you got going on, and build meaningful relationships and community with people. You couldn't get out of your own way to do that. And now you're at the winter of your life and you're alone.
Mhm.
And that's sad. It's really sad.
Well, I think that when I first read this about relationships, I was like, whoa, I'm in a midlife crisis because I've been killing a lot of relationships. But also,
I don't think that's true.
well, no, I've been cutting relationships with people that I'm like, this doesn't benefit me.
Exactly.
Anyway.
It's different.
But if it's something meaningful, then I gravitate towards that.
Yeah.
So for all those people out there that are in their 40s, you need to look at this list and determine, are you going through a crisis or positive aging? Because you could be like my sister and think you're going through a crisis and be positive aging. And you could also think that you're positively aging and you could be going through a crisis. You need to examine which one. And then if you're going through a crisis, get some help. It's some people out there that can help you through your tough times.
Yeah.
Getting older doesn't mean that we have to get worse.
Yes.
I actually think it's getting better, like wine. Aging like fine wine. That's how we gonna do it. And that was a YouTube exclusive.
Join the conversation and follow the Unsolicited Perspectives podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your audio podcasts.